The first presenter is from Iolani High School. So presenters, could you please come to the front? Everybody, please welcome them with a big hand.
All right. Aloha! Aloha! Excellent. We are the Japan Super Science Fair team from Iolani School, Honolulu, Hawaii, United States of America. Our team members are Raphael Lee, Marissa Barling, Pasha Hokama, James Fushikuma, and myself, Christopher Lindsay. And today we'd like to present our research over the past year on the Hawaiian white-tipped reef shark. The name of our project is Shark, Friend or Foe, an observational study of the Hawaiian white-tipped reef shark, Trianodon oasis.
Sharks to you and me are viewed as menacing monsters. We asked students around our school what they thought of when they heard the word shark. Here are the responses we got.
Dangerous. Sharks are really scary. Teeth. Big animal.
Vicious, mean, and scary.
Scary fish. Beer.
Our Japan Super Science Fair team strived to conduct a research project free from the misconception of shark aggression. We designed and built an underwater time-lapse camera system in order to observe the behavior of white-tipped reef sharks in their natural habitats.
Our team studied white-tipped reef sharks with the scientific name of Trianodon oasis and Hawaiian name of Manualakea. What makes these sharks unique from other sharks is their ability to respire while lying motionless on the ocean floor, while most other sharks need to constantly swim in order to breathe. These sharks live in shallow waters from 8 to 40 meters in all tropical marine environments. They prefer to live in overhead environments, such as in wrecks, under coral reef ledges, and the sharks that we studied lived in a cave. They reach maturity at a late age of 9 years old, and as shown in this photo, 1 to 4 males will pursue a female in the summer months in the Hawaiian waters. If she accepts one of them, they will mate, and there will be followed by a year-long gastrulation, and she will give birth to 1 to 2 pups. The white-tipped reef shark is a nocturnal hunter and eats bony fish and uses electrical and acoustic cues given off by them in order to hunt. They are near the top of the food chain with very few natural predators and are responsible for maintaining fish populations. As our video showed earlier, many people view sharks as aggressive. However, as shown in this graphic, each year only 10 people die from shark attacks, while humans kill over 475,000 other humans. Sharks are the victims of humans rather than vice versa, with over 100 million of them being killed each year. Most of this is due to finning and culling. Finning is shown here, where a fisherman will capture a shark to only cut its fin off and throw it back into the ocean, leaving it to die. Another main source of shark slaughters is shark culling, where large weighted drum lines will be placed in the ocean in order to try and prevent shark attacks. However, research has shown this not to prevent shark attacks, but it is detrimental to marine life. Sharks are especially susceptible to negative human interference due to their late maturity, long gastrulation period, and small litter size.
Like Raphael said, one of the main goals of our project was to construct an underwater time-lapse camera system to observe these white-tipped reef sharks in their natural environment so that we were able to understand their behavior. We tried many different methods of taking time-lapse pictures, including Canon cameras, but we eventually decided to go with a Linux microcomputer called a Raspberry Pi attached to a camera board due to its small size and low battery necessities. So James is holding here our camera apparatus with the camera in the front and the Raspberry Pi and other electrical components bolted onto a wooden frame. And in order to make this whole apparatus waterproof so that we are able to observe these sharks, we constructed pressure housings made out of aluminum tubing and acrylic windows. And later in our project, We wanted to take pictures of the sharks during the nighttime because, as Narissa said, sharks are actually nocturnal, going out normally at night. So we also constructed a lighting system with 66 LED bulbs soldered onto a perf board connected to a battery pack. In order to save battery, we wanted to sync the lights and camera to fire at the same time, so we wouldn't have to shine the lights the whole day long. So we used a Raspberry Pi and coded a Linux script to fire the lights and the camera at the same time. And here is our lights and camera. Oh, sorry, lights, camera. In order to anchor the apparatus onto the bottom of the seafloor and prevent currents from washing it away, we constructed a steel and iron frame to hold it in place. The second purpose of this frame was to ensure that the lights and the camera always pointed into the same direction so that our subject would always be illuminated, as these graphics show.
After we finalized our camera apparatus, we went on to launch 3 deployments at Makai Research Pier near Makapu'u Point on Oahu. Our first deployment, which took place in April, acted as our test run to test both the camera and lighting systems and also the waterproof housing. We used a crane, as seen in this picture, to lower the camera apparatus right next to the pier's piling. This deployment was a success as we collected over 500 images. For our second deployment in May, we decided to locate the camera apparatus in front of a cave a few meters off of the pier. We chose this location because it was well known for frequent shark sightings. We used the kayak, as seen in the picture, to transport the apparatus to the desired location. While one of our team members actually carried the apparatus on the kayak, the rest of the members actually swam out and snorkeled near the cave. This deployment was again a success as we collected over 2,000 images. Although our deployment we were very proud of our data that we collected, the researchers at Makai Research Pier notified our team saying that they had not spotted any sharks in the cave for 2 weeks after our deployment. Concerned that our giant apparatus could have somehow altered the natural behavior of sharks, we decided we wanted to redesign our camera. For our new design, we eliminated all metal elements, including the metal steel frame, and we replaced the aluminum pipe housings with the plastic PVC pipe. We decided to eliminate the metal objects because we felt that the electrical currents given from the metal could have agitated the shark's behavior. We also completely eliminated the flashing lights, as the lights could have also altered the shark's behavior. So for our final design, it was the plastic PVC pipe housing mounted onto a cinder block. We used our modified design to launch our third deployment in June. We again located the camera in front of the cave and collected over 8,000 images, including this picture of the white-tip reef shark.
Data analysis showed many interesting behaviors of the white-tip reef shark. In our second deployment, we were able to see the normal behavior of sharks in the cave as they rested motionless. Immediately after the second deployment, however, the presence of our apparatus altered the shark's natural habitat, causing the sharks to leave the cave for a long period of time. In our third deployment, we were fortunate to see a close-range interaction between humans and sharks. When 2 of our team members went near the cave to check on the camera, the shark was agitated by the presence of our team members, as shown here. Incidents such as these indicated that sharks, instead of posing threats on humans, were rather sensitive to human presence. Here are some interesting photos we were able to obtain from our deployments. On the top left-hand side, there is the silhouette of a sea turtle as it pokes its head through the shark cave. On the bottom left-hand side, there's the bird's eye view of a sea turtle. And on the right-hand side, that is actually 2 white-tip reef sharks. One is hidden underneath the rock. This is a bird's eye view from the top of our shark cave. Seeing the number of sharks killed by humans, we were interested to see the details of the shark attacks that happened, non-fatal, and fatal attacks on humans. We found that the majority of the attacks caused by sharks were due to the great names such as great whites, tiger sharks, and bull sharks. However, the majority of the other sharks, such as the white-tipped reef sharks, are only responsible for a small fraction of the attacks caused by sharks. In our case, the white-tipped reef sharks, only for 1%, all of them being non-lethal. We were also able to obtain quantitative data on the sightings of the sharks at Mackay Research Pier. We found that the sightings were much more frequent during the springtime, from April to May, compared to during the winter, which we believe to be an indication of the mating and gastrulation periods.
After several months of brainstorming and building, our team was able to construct a low-cost, underwater time-lapse camera to observe marine life. Despite the misconception that sharks always present a deathly danger toward humans, there's actually no signs of shark aggression present in our data. Instead, our data revealed the white-tipped reef sharks as generally calm and inactive for the bustling marine life around them. Therefore, our data supports that the white-tipped reef sharks and several other shark species may not be the menacing monsters humans perceive them as. Instead, they are the true victims in the shark and human interaction.
Sharks are a vital part of the marine ecosystem and food chain. The negative misconceptions that humans have towards sharks has created fear and hostility towards all shark species. Over 100 million sharks are slaughtered every year, and most of them just for their fins. We know that it is our responsibility to protect these sharks because they do not pose a deadly threat to us. We have learned that sharks are relatively docile creatures, sensitive to the environment around them. Since we know that it is our responsibility, we wanted to tell you how you can educate yourself and support organizations like Fin Free, No Fin in the Bowl, and Save Our Sharks. Also, do not purchase products that have shark in them, like certain lipsticks and soaps. Who knows, maybe you're using a product with shark in it and you might not even know it. Most importantly, don't eat shark fin soup, even though it can be really yummy. If we do not reinstate the role of sharks in our environment, we may never be able to preserve them again. We have continued further research with the Department of the Army and the Hawaii Underseas Military Munitions Assessment Group, HUMA. We are very grateful that we had the remotely operated vehicle, Jason, from the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution to deploy our camera apparatus. We have been conducting research on biological marine life at 500 meters depth off of the southern coast of Oahu. Our research is a valuable addition to the knowledge of white-tipped reef sharks known. Through a better understanding of these misunderstood animals, we recognize our responsibility in protecting these unique and valuable creatures.
These are our sources. Our project would not have been possible without the help from our many advisors, so we would like to thank from the University of Hawaii School of Ocean, Earth Science and Technology, Dr. Margot Edwards, Mr. Mark Ronstadt, Mr. Maximilian Kramer, Mr. Terry Kirby, and from our school, Iolani School, we would like to thank our advisors, Dr. Holly and Mark Lindsay, Dr. Timothy Cottrell, our head of school, and the staff of the I department. Thank you. Are there any questions?
Thank you very much for a wonderful presentation. Do you have any questions?
Are there any safety precautions that you took with the camera and the cave, since you were aware that there were sharks around?
Well, these are white-tipped reef sharks, and the first time especially, our team was really reluctant to go near the cave. I think only 2 or 3 of us went in the first time, but Well, for myself, I wasn't scared because I actually see them a lot because I'm a scuba diver. So I decided to go, and then I think Rafi and Chris went with me too the first time. And then by our last deployment, everyone was just getting in the water because we were really close to the sharks at that point, and we wanted to be with them, and we wanted to go visit the cave.
We didn't have any safety precautions, but we did have the help of Max and Kirby from the University of Hawaii. They actually had scuba gear on just so they could help us deploy our camera apparatus because it was quite heavy because we didn't want the currents to sweep it away.
First off, I'm most envious of your lab. My lab looks nothing like this, so I'm very envious. I'm wondering what the cost of your prototype was and how many prototypes you went through to get to your final design.
So the first thing we wanted to decide was how to take the time-lapse pictures. So we went through a whole bunch of really old Canon cameras that we got from eBay for tens of dollars, so that's only 1,000, 2,000 yen. But at the end, we were using this Raspberry Pi rig, which this is kind of actually our, well, at first we only had the Raspberry Pi and the camera board. So the Raspberry Pi, this Model A, costs $30, 2,000 yen. And the camera board costs another $25. So that's only $55 for a pretty decent small camera, which is actually a computer as well. But the final cost of all of the internals would be about $100, I'd say. But the expensive part of our apparatus would be the aluminum pipes and the acrylic windows, and those were a couple $100. And we went through I think we bought only 2 of these aluminum pipes, but we did have a big sheet of acrylic that we drilled a lot of, or water jet cut it, and milled a lot of windows out of. And because we kept cracking them in pressure tests and things like that.
I should say first, I think it's really good piece of work from sort of creating the bottom up. I'm really quite envious when you get to work to us these days back in the UK, certainly. I think, Chris, you said about trying to take pictures in the dark. How do you thought about using the red camera board and coding that in to try and get day and night pictures?
The problem with the infrared camera, we did look into that, was that water absorbs infrared light really very strongly, so we wouldn't see pretty much anything if we use the infrared camera, because water absorbs blue light the least and red light the most, and once you go past red, it absorbs even more. So that's why we wouldn't use infrared.
Again, I mean, absolutely amazing what you've done, and especially your methods actually gone on to the improvements. Really, really well done. My own question is, you've said about the conclusion you made is that actually that don't exhibit the highly aggressive behaviour. I mean, how confident can you be in that conclusion given the method that you've used?
Well, of course we didn't study all the species of sharks, but for our conclusion we said that not all sharks exhibit that aggressive attitude or behavior. And so we're very confident now that we study the white-tip reef sharks that they do not show aggressive tendencies towards humans.
Also, in our shark case, you are already seeing the quantitative data. That's over 1 year. Actually, that data was taken by one of the UH members that helped us. He's not only done that for 1 year, but he's actually done that for over many years already. And the method that he does this is actually he goes down to the cave, pokes his head inside the camera cave, and checks them each time. So I think that's a kind of an implicit, proof that they're not really that, if you don't do anything to them, they're really, really nice creatures.
Thank you, presenters. Let's move on to the next presentation. Thank you.